The hosts feel it would be a little unkind to present this podcast without just a word of friendly warning. We are about to unfold the story of Frankenstein, a man of science who sought to create a man after his own image without reckoning upon God. It is one of the strangest tales ever told. It deals with the two great mysteries of creation, life and death. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now's your chance to. Well, we've warned you.
Hello and welcome once again to the Frankencast. I'm the mad scientist Anthony Bowman. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm joined as always by...
There really was only one option, and that was, I am the murderous dong of Liberace, that is, Eric Velasquez. My pronouns are also he, him.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yep.
So, we're talking about Rock and Roll Frankenstein from 1999.
And it feels like it, doesn't it?
Oh boy, yeah, it sure does.
So let's go ahead and get the content warnings right out of the way. SA, we got animal abuse, definitely homophobia, for sure.
So much.
Gore, I guess. It's cartoonish gore, but, I mean, it lends itself to the animal abuse.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that's it, but that's a lot. That's way more loaded than it should be.
Yeah. Yes, particularly the homophobia, like...
Here's the weird thing. Like, because it was in the late, 90s / early aughts, it is homophobia, but it's also, I don't necessarily want to say it's, positive homophobia, because it kind of is. It's like that weird space where we're still learning all the terminology because everyone else refused to.
Yeah,
and
yeah, it's like... It uses
Be who you are.
It uses a lot of really homophobic language, like a ton of it.
F-bombs being dropped, and I'm not talking about fuck.
Yeah, but there is, at the heart of this, there is an idea that could have been executed in a way that would have been, really impressive, especially for the time. Right. But instead, it just, at every opportunity to do the right thing, it kind of it missed it. It really, really blatantly missed it or just slightly missed it. But every time it was it could have gone one way and it chose a different path.
Yes, not always. Definitely never the best one. Never, ever.
Yeah. It's just. But there's a kernel of an interesting idea here that we'll get into it as we go. But I think that maybe is what made me so frustrated about this movie was just there's something here, but just it misses it. And I think we
my 18 at this time I probably would have been 16, 15 or 16, but my younger brain would be good job guys, you know. It's no, that's not a good job, that's a terrible job.
Yeah.
But it's for my brain, and I'm sure their brains too, they were hey, we're being accepting and opening to everybody.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Probably, who knows. Mm-hmm.
All right, so
let's get into this.
Yeah, let's get into it. So we have this rock star telling his manager that his manager's name.
Did we say this was Did we say Rock and Roll Frankenstein was the movie this week?
Yeah, I can't remember if I did or not. So we had talked about doing this with Tim Kirk, when we ended up last week doing Jailhouse Rock. He kind of pitched
Tim, we're glad we didn't.
Yeah, I feel like this would have kind of really sucked all the air out of everything else we were trying to talk about with Tim's book and everything. I think we picked the right fit for that, but I am really glad we're going to do this because there's definitely a lot to talk about.
Absolutely.
But yes, so Rock and Roll Frankenstein, we start with just a rock star. I don't know if we ever even get his name because he doesn't really matter.
He would have been a great foil to the king, I guess.
Yeah, it is kind of weird that he's just he just vanishes after this scene. Basically, he's become too successful for his current manager, and he wants to fire him and move on. And, you know, they kind of get into this fight where the manager's like, I made you, and I've got this contract and all that. And he's like, yeah, I've talked to my lawyers. They said I can wipe my ass with that. But I'm not going to do that because my ass is worth more than you are. Like,
right. It would improve the contract, right? It would make it more valuable.
Yeah. So when he leaves, Bernie's like, the next time
I'll never be fucked again.
Yeah, I'm gonna own the next rock star that I make. Like, he's not. Well,
I will specifically own their. I will own their ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So yeah, that takes us to credits, which is just like, you know, rock music. The credits are all kind of like stitched into flesh. Some real good like '90s Frankenstein stuff here. And when we come
by the way, General Mayhem was the makeup artists. Don't really know them doing too much, so I'll have to look into that.
Yeah,
but Mr. Peepers.
Yeah, we have our mad scientist. We just get his name is Frankie. But yeah, he has this horrible little mutant rat puppet named Mr. Peepers.
Wait a second. Why didn't we have a resolution with Mr. Peepers? Like, I don't want to spoil anything, but like, he would have been a perfect victim for the king, question mark?
Yeah, now that as soon as you said that, I was like, oh man, yeah, that would have been wild. Like, we could have gone to some real crazy places with that, but...
they didn't have the budget to shove a rat up a guy's butt. Anyway, not to spoil too much.
Yeah, so he's talking to Mr. Peepers that his next step is he's gonna reanimate this cow's head. This is very much in the reanimator vein of things, where like each part can be brought to its own sort of form of life.
Right, and boy does it.
Yeah. So he gets interrupted because the doorbell rings, and it's Uncle Bernie, our rock and roll agent from the previous scene.
Right, he brought a guy named Iggy in who does drugs.
Iggy, are you getting it? Iggy's gonna help Frankie out, you know.
Iggy Pop and the assistant Iggy, like, you know, Iggy Gore. Anyway.
And so basically we find out Bernie is like, he's bankrolling Frankie's experimentation in the hopes that Frankie can help him out a little bit.
Right. Why does the cow have vagina in its neck? We're going to find out, but why?
Yeah. I did really like the gag where he's like, so what's your specialty, Iggy? And he's like, I'm into drugs. And he's like, oh, cool, you're a chemist. No. Iggy is he's your typical rock and roll roadie. He is into drugs.
Well, he's more meth than anything else, but yeah, he's a chemist, all right. He's a cook, we'll say.
Yeah.
But anyway, we get basically the whole point is you have to fill the dead body with a concoction composed of their fetal components. So
yeah.
This
is like stem cell stuff. I think that was kind of already like right in the news at the time, you know, fetal tissue and all that.
Right, when they were passing laws of, hey, you can't put babies in our bodies, even though they're making people have babies in their bodies. That's another story altogether. Anyway.
Yeah. So we find out that, like, you know, he's been working. He's just doing the parts right now. That's all he's kind of done. But he's like, I don't know if I'm ready to start integrating things. But Bernie's like, it's time. Like, I've given you $100K. I need results.
Right.
And you know, what can go wrong if we? He gives our central thesis here, which is we're going to dig up the bodies of all the greatest rock stars the world has ever known, and we're going to put the parts together. To come up with the greatest rock star of all time.
By the way, don't you think Elvis would be like, hey, literally one of my most famous movies is kind of about how older, washed-up musicians just really aren't there anymore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. But they're ready for it. They're Iggy and Bernie decide to celebrate. They like toast little like Coke spoons and
let's do Coke about it.
But Frankie, he steers clear of that.
A mind is a terrible thing not to get wasted. Quoting Freddy Krueger from, which part was it? Part 5? 4 or 5? Anyway.
That sounds about right, yeah. So we have like a scene later, everybody's left, Frankie's alone. He records into a tape recorder his notes, as we often have. But then we get the first hint that Frankie is a particular kind of mad scientist, because he pulls out some autopsy photos of like torsos that are, open in the middle.
Was it Lust of Frankenstein? He's gonna fuck its liver?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So he begins masturbating to autopsy photos.
Beautiful.
Yep. So so he's I think the next thing we see is just like they're back in the lab, they're all working. Iggy is trying to get Mr. Peepers high by blowing weed smoke in his face.
I guess that's all they could afford for this one puppet. Because he ain't in the movie anymore. This is it. This is Mr. Peepers. All right.
Then we have later Iggy traveling in a
roadie
tour van with two roadies. They think they're headed to a gig. They're like, oh, who are we gonna be roadieing for? And he's like, no, this isn't a gig. This is a dig.
Yeah.
So they're gonna go obviously start digging up bodies, and Iggy's like, I'll do the dirty work. You just have to dig. That's all you got to do.
I feel like that is the dirty work, but I guess he means saw up the components.
I guess.
Yeah. By the way, they're going to get Jimi Hendrix's hands, which, wow, I'm surprised. I'm glad we avoided the racism of it. So good job, guys. You did it, I guess.
Yeah. Which, is like, they kind of, we have like, we're going to get Jimi Hendrix's hands, and then I think we're going to have Elvis's head. And then after that, it's just kind of mostly fuzzy. Like, we're not going to get specific about whose parts and why and everything. I'm guessing Jimi Hendrix is supposed to be like the guitar virtuoso, so his hands are the ones we want.
So where did Buddy Holly come in? Where was he in this?
Yeah, because we do see them like looking at like a map or something of where Buddy Holly would be, but like, we don't know what part of him.
And we know they got parts of Sid Vicious because we have the tags. But one, I'm surprised they found parts of Buddy Holly. Two, what could you have got from Sid Vicious that wasn't like just absolutely jacked up on drugs?
Yeah, and they also we have Keith Moon from The Who. We do find out his legs are taken, which is weird. He's a drummer. Like I don't know what. I mean, I guess that gives him good rhythm, but like, I don't know.
The man can pump for hours. Anyway. Yeah, but there is a little bit of heat now that they're stealing the body parts in this body part stealing montage.
Yeah, we have this extended montage, and it's like we see some like newspapers that are like, our fans doing this. All rockers' graves across the world are being desecrated. And like we even have like they're in on a plane with a guitar case when they read the thing about Keith Moon, and then they're like tucking the guitar case, so clearly his legs are in the case. But
what's the final piece, Anthony? What's the capstone of this project?
Yeah, well, we do get like they go to Graceland, they steal Elvis Presley's skull, and Frank's like, okay, we're all set, and Bernie's like, wait, no, what about his dick? Like, you don't have a dick on this, and he's like,
I was going to give him a vagina.
Yeah, it's more efficient.
Right.
And Bernie's like, what the fuck you? No, like, the dick is the most important part of a rock star. It's where he gets all of his rock and roll power from. I
feel like Matt Stone and Trey Parker would put, this was a real belief at one time.
Right, yeah, for sure. And if we're leaning into this belief that somehow rock stars get their charisma and their power from their dick, then there's only one rock star that's worthy of this, and that's Jim Morrison, famous for getting arrested for showing his dick on stage a couple times.
Right.
So he's got to send Iggy and company to Paris, where Jim Morrison was famously buried in Paris.
Listen, I feel like there was a guy, what the hell was his name? I keep forgetting it. He used to roll around in glass in his own feces.
Oh, G.G. Allen.
Yeah, G.G. Allen. I feel like, you could have got G.G. Allen. It would have definitely been as bad as the rest of this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
yeah. It would have been really funny if it was like the butt of G.G. Allen.
Yes! Just spraying everywhere. Sorry, this is our own movie.
Oh, yeah. but yeah, but before Iggy and the roadies leave, Frankie stops him and he's like, actually, I have a line. Like,
I have a line.
I know Jim Morrison is buried in France, but his dick is not, because I've got some connections, in the body part collector community.
Right.
Don't ask me any questions about how I'm connected to that community, but I am. And I know that there's a guy around town who has an extensive dick collection, including Jim Morrison.
The guy's name's Nakatomi. Hopefully that's an allusion to the plaza. Also, thank God they didn't use yellowface in this.
We didn't
get a breakfast at Tiffany's here.
Right, yeah, it would not have surprised me at all. But yeah, we just we never see this guy. They just sneak into his house, get in, and there's like a whole like comic gag where they're trying to figure out how they're going to open his safe, and then it turns out that it's not locked at all.
Right. Do you want to do a combination? Oh no, man, we're going to do a speedball. Cocaine reference. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So, we see this inside the safe is just a wall of jars full of celebrity dicks, including... I mean,
this was a thing, Napoleon and Rasputin.
Yeah, we have Jeffrey Dahmer, we have Lassie, the dog. That's
too much. We're going too far.
And then right next to each other, we have Jim Morrison and Liberace.
I thought it was Liber Ace.
So that obviously they grab Jim Morrison's jar, and then Iggy burns his hand on his bong, and thankfully he doesn't drop the bong, but he does drop the jar.
Don't worry, guys, I saved the bong.
Yeah. And actually, it's the dick seems okay. We obviously have like this scene where the brain gets dropped a lot, and a brain hitting the ground is gonna just turn to mush. But a dick's a little hardier, so maybe it still could be saved.
It's like it's meant to take a pounding. Anyway, yeah.
But they go to put it in another jar, and it happens to be a jar full of hydrochloric acid. So
they melt Jim Morrison's dong. No.
Yep, so it's all gone. So they're like, okay, well, we gotta let's peel the label off this jar. We'll put it on another one. They'll never know. Let's pick a good one. So they start looking, but then the bong sets off the smoke alarm, and they're like, fuck, we gotta get out of here fast. So they just grab a jar at random, run out, and we see that it's Liberace's. So they get it back to the lab. They've covered up the label. Bernie makes a joke that he's like, I guess size really doesn't matter. So I guess there's canonically in this movie, Liberace has a small dick. I don't know.
Well, that's until he gets. He's a grower, not a shower, Anthony.
Right? Yeah. Is it worth taking an aside here to talk about who Liberace is? Because he's such a weird character in that, like, he was incredibly famous, like hugely famous in his time, but he didn't, like, he was a famous piano player who was very flamboyant and, like, kind of, in retrospect is very obviously gay, but, like, at the time it was kind of like, it wasn't talked about and all that. Like, in fact, I think he tried to sue people who said he was gay.
Well, I think that was the same with Little Richard, right? They tried to bury it, or... Yeah.
But the weird thing with Liberace is, like, he did record some music, but he was mainly famous for, like, appearing on late night talk shows. He even had, like, a variety show of his own. So, like, his legacy has not carried on the way that a lot of people less famous than him at the time have, because it's a little bit more ephemeral. Like, people, I haven't checked, but I would imagine that there's probably not a lot of Liberace on Spotify or something.
No.
It's just like, it's more about watching him perform. And, like, he didn't sing, he just played instrumentals at the piano for the most part. That was his whole thing. But, like, he kind of had like a Michael Bublé kind of thing, where it was just like, housewives loved him, moms loved him. They just, like, they just thought he was just so handsome and he dressed so interestingly, and, like, they just really had this sort of, like, fascination with this guy.
Right.
And yeah, so I mean, for our purposes, the main thing here is that he's incredibly famous for being gay, like sort of after the fact.
But obviously flamboyantly, like if you were paying attention and knew what that was.
Yeah. I mean, he wore like, gold sequin tuxedos most of the time, and etc. I think there was like a sort of like a biopic movie about him a couple years ago, so maybe people are a little more familiar with him.
Right.
I feel like it wasn't like a documentary. It was like I don't know, Michael Douglas or something played him in it.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but like, yeah, so I don't know. It's just he's a strange figure in that, like, there's not really a current person that I could compare him to, really.
Right.
Especially since, like, obviously now we don't have the context of what celebrities are going to continue to be famous 20, 30 years from now.
Well, not only that, but I mean, most of the reference to Liberace is, he gay guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nowadays, that's definitely what anybody would know about him. Yeah. And certainly a movie in the 90s, if they're like, what's a good gay... Like, of course, this is what they're going to go with.
Right.
But...
You could have gotten Oscar Wilde, yet you chose... No, I'm kidding.
Which actually kind of would have been better in a way, because Oscar Wilde was sort of, like, gleefully gay, and, like, I'm so evil. Like, he, like, liked being sort of, like... breaking the rules and the taboos and stuff, whereas Liberace was trying to keep it on the down low. So,
right.
like, some of the, like, what we'll get later that we'll talk about feels a little out of character for the way Liberace was in his time.
I feel, I'll be real with you, like, from my understanding, the kind of end, or at least some stories that have come out, have been more Kevin Spacey adjacent, so maybe not so far off.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
That could be. Yeah, it's like, obviously, again, from that time period, people were more private.
Right.
It was harder to find out this stuff, and there's certainly, like, after this much time has gone by.
And I'm going to add a disclaimer that I'm not saying that gay guys are like that. I'm just saying those particular famous gay guys were like that. Those two.
Yeah. So once they attach the dick, it's like it's time to start bringing the monster to life. Bernie is like, I'm going to start booking the tour. I am ready. Right. And Frankie's like, let him wake up and see what he's like. And we might not, I don't know what he's going to remember. We might have to teach him to play guitar again. Who knows? Like, we should give this a little time, though.
Right. Did we mention the guy who's praising Jesus and handing them bags of fetuses? Because, boy, that's relevant.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. Like, so to get the fetal tissue that they need to bring him to life. Mm-hmm. He's an anti-abortion activist. He's the same guy who brings the fetal tissue to give to protesters to hold up and show, gross mangled fetuses or whatever.
Right, to throw at young women who are trying to undo mistakes they made.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just... like, I guess this is, obviously this is still a thing, but it's, this little bit of, like, political humor holds up and is great, and it's definitely, like, pointing at these people who are, as corrupt as anything they think they're protesting, or I really liked that little gag. But so we go to the reanimation scene. We're injecting serum. We're using just like defibrillator paddles.
I like things like don't touch the table because there's a lot of voltage here. All right, we got some science in this. Good job, guys. I guess.
And Frankie keeps zapping him on the chest like you do, and it's not working. And Bernie's like, he's a rock star. We should do the balls.
Right.
We need to get his balls back to life. That's the thing.
If you zap any guy in the balls, he's likely to wake up. It's like, he's not wrong, but also that's a lot of scrotal damage. Just saying.
And it works. As soon as he gets zapped in the balls, he sits right up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, of course, because we got Elvis's head, so we got to have that.
Yeah.
And then we just cut to later that night. The monster is alone, and just starts kind of feeling his what is he's coming to terms with this strange new body and the parts that don't seem to be connected or whatever. And
as most young men do, immediately finds his penis and starts playing with it.
Yeah, and there seems to be a sense of is this mine? I don't remember this being what mine was like. He's just got phantom memory a little bit, and is this is unfamiliar. It's everything seems off.
The Metal Gear Solid game we didn't know we wanted, the Phantom Dick.
Right. So then we have like the next day we're doing, this is what we often have in Frankenstein stories where we're like trying to teach him a little bit, trying to feed him, trying to like turn him into a person again. And Uncle Bernie brings in the guitar to try to get him to play, and he just has no dexterity for it. He's just like, numbly, like his just hand strums across all the strings. It's just out of tune.
Right.
He just doesn't know what to do with his guitar at all.
It's like he's not famous for playing the guitar, more like the piano, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bernie's like, we gotta get this moving. He's got to learn. We got to get him out on the road. And Frankie's like, he is basically a baby. Just give him a little bit of time to learn everything again. It's just going to take time. We see that night the monster's again left alone, and he picks up the guitar again. And I did think this was a nice little touch. So when Bernie hands him the guitar, he hands it to him. It's a right-handed guitar that he hands to him in the right-handed playing style.
Right.
But when he picks it up this time, he picks it up upside down, left-handed style, specifically the way Jimi Hendrix played a right-handed upside-down guitar. So nice little nod there to a very specific bit of like rock and roll trivia. But he still has no idea how to play it. Like, it's still like, he's not making any good sounds out of it. But these hands are at least sort of like muscle memory doing what they did last, Then the next thing we have like the monster in the bath, and Frankie's like kind of helping him wash, and they're talking, and like he's like, I don't this body is unfamiliar to me. Everything feels wrong and bad. Like, what's wrong with me?
Damn it, you've given the king body dysmorphia.
Yeah, and like this is really good. Like this is great. This is the monster sort of handling this stuff, and Frankie being there with him, and he's like, You're unique. Like, there's nobody like you. So yes, you may look strange to any kind of context you may be able to see around you, but that's because that's how special you are, and that's how beautiful you are.
But he instead of saying you're greater than the sum of your parts, he's like, no, you are the sum of your parts. It's like, that's odd, weirdly positive, I guess. But sure, we'll go with it.
Yeah, because he's like, don't worry about the parts. Just figure out who you are together. Like, yeah, it's a little strange wording, but like, yeah, I mean, I think the sentiment of like, don't like, it's time to stop thinking about you as like Elvis's head and Jimi Hendrix's hands. You are you.
You are king.
This whole thing, it's pretty soon that we'll get that, like, they just call him King. Right. That's his name.
But also Frankie says, like, like me, we're a little different, We have different urges. Mine are slightly different from yours, but we'll find that out.
Yeah. So next we have, Bernie is insistent. We got to get him out into the world. That's the way we're going to, like, turn him into the rock star that he's supposed to be. So they take him out shopping to get, he's got to have clothes. He's got to look cool to be a rock star, of course.
Right. But of course, it's the king. So what's he going to pick? He's going to pick jumpsuits.
Yep. He comes out in like the classic Elvis white jumpsuit from like the Vegas era.
But wait a second. Also, isn't that kind of Liberace thing too?
Yeah, true. Yeah. So that maybe that's the Venn diagram thing there. Right. That's where they kind of come together. But we also get the first instance of a particular kind of like homophobic gag that, like, I guess is sort of ingrained in pop culture now.
I feel like it's gone out though. Like, it was kind of popular when we were young. Like, no, I'm not going to say popular. The joke was popular. Probably never really happened.
Exactly. I feel like this, it's just one of those, when we were so scared and weirded out by gay people and what gay people might want to do, this was, I don't, like, I know that it sort of, like, famously, like, people said Richard Gere did, I guess, so that it was, probably most people here would be familiar with it from South Park. There was a lot of, like, gags with that in early South Park seasons, that gay men liked to put gerbils up their asses.
Yeah.
And
something
again,
completely
I don't know
ridiculous that I don't know how that would even work. Like, wouldn't that lead to a lot of trauma?
Oh,
like,
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
For you and the
gerbil. Yeah, for sure. And there were rumors, like, when I was a kid, I remember that, like, Richard Gere did this, and I don't know why, because, like, he's not even, like, as far as I know, he's straight. I don't know, like, I mean, I don't know if there was, like, rumors of him being gay or if it was just an unrelated thing, because again, no evidence of this ever having happened. It was just this stupid schoolyard rumor thing. And then South Park, I remember it was like a long run. Like they even had like an episode that took place entirely inside. Was it Mr. Slave? Was that when Big Gay Al's girlfriend?
Was Mr. Slave Garrison? Mr. Mrs.
Oh, Garrison? Yeah, maybe it was Garrison's. Yeah, but yeah, it was this whole like sort of like Watership Down sort of storyline taking place in his intestines as like this gerbil goes on an adventure and stuff. It was but. To go back to this, he as they're out shopping, he walks past a pet store and is like, I really want some gerbils.
Right, so, I gotta have me some gerbils. So
Bernie buys him a couple gerbils, and then we just have like later on, they're like, back at home, and Frankie's like, are you starting to get any memories of anything that happened to you before you woke up in the lab?
I only remember Vegas.
And fried chicken.
Yeah, that's right. Which, weirdly enough, I think that was kind of another overlap between Elvis and Liberace. At least Vegas was.
Yeah, definitely. Frankie does his like reflex tests. He's just kind of keeping up with making sure the healing is going well. And then he leaves him and goes to bed. And then this is when we have the monster taking out a gerbil. And it's like he puts it inside a condom and tries to...
the condoms don't come until later. He literally just tries to shove it up there, and it doesn't work. So he's like, might as well take a bite out of the gerbil because zombie.
Yeah, he just bites its head off instead, which felt like maybe like a Ozzy Osbourne joke, but we never got... Ozzy Osbourne was obviously not dead at the time.
Surprisingly, made it up until just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's going to be the first instance of this like long running gag in this movie of like this gerbil thing that it is what it is. It's not great, but it is certainly of its time for sure. So then we have like later they're doing a photo shoot. Another important thing about becoming a famous rock star. We gotta put him in different outfits and have a photographer do all these shots and everything. Bernie starts like making calls about like, I've got this new guy. He's gonna be great. You're gonna want him on your label. You're gonna want him on tour.
Nobody's responding except for one guy sends his assistant to the recording.
There's the studio, and Bernie is pissed. He's like, he wouldn't even come himself. He just sent his underling, and he's like, you go back and tell him to go fuck up. Okay, fine. I guess watch. We'll see what happens. Like, he's just like, he doesn't have enough like cultural cachet to be like, tell him to fuck himself because it might be my only chance. We also get another tiny little music trivia gag here that I thought was really funny. Bernie is bragging to like the mixer or the producer behind the mixing board here in the studio, claiming that he invented the wall of sound. A technique made famous by Phil Spector, but he says that he was like, I suggested to Phil Ramone that maybe like a wall of sound would be a good way to do things. Phil Spector did produce a Ramones album, so I think we get the little crossover there. That's this fictional Phil Ramone character.
Also, probably, was Spector being charged with murder at this time? Like, I feel like that would happen a few years later.
Yeah, I don't think that had come up yet, but yeah, when he had produced that Ramones album, he definitely pulled a gun on the Ramones, so he was already pretty like famously crazy and like gun happy. But
that's probably why they didn't say that though. They were like, yeah, he's gonna come after us if we say the full name. We don't need that smoke.
Yeah. The assistant from the other record exec comes in and they're like, all right, go ahead, King, play us something.
But the King's not sure what to do with this guitar. This is a weird thing. He's not familiar with this particular instrument.
Yeah, he tries to strum it and he breaks a string in the process. And then Bernie just starts getting desperate. He's like, I don't know, the drums. Get behind the drums. See if you got rhythm.
Right.
And he can't play the drums.
Sing something for Pete's sake.
Yeah, he starts to try to sing, and it's still not great. So Bernie's mad. He's yelling at Frankie, like, I gave you the biggest stars of all time, and you make this shit out of it? Like, this is terrible. So we have, like, later on, they're back in the lab, and Frankie's like, I've got some thoughts, and maybe I know what's going on. Maybe, again, going back to the reanimator thing, if all of your parts are alive on their own. Maybe they're fighting with each other. Maybe your whole body is like a fight for dominance, and I need to give some part of you the edge boost so that it can take control.
Right.
So I'm going to inject more of the serum into the brain. So, then we've got Elvis kind of taking control. So we have like a little later, Iggy being a roadie. He is also pretty good at the guitar.
Right.
You have to do sound checks and all that. So he's been enlisted to teach King the guitar.
Right. Well, not only that, but to help him get his mind right.
Yep. Which means teaching him to smoke weed. And then also giving him a hit of acid, yeah.
I love the touch that when he does acid, he the Jimi Hendrix part just comes out naturally, and he plays the Star Spangled Banner famously like Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, I did really like that. Mm-hmm. And then he sets the guitar down and he goes over to the piano and he starts playing, and he's quite good at the piano, but it's not rock and roll. This isn't like Jerry Lee Lewis piano. Yeah. This is Liberace piano. It's beautiful and melodic and, more classical style.
Right. And then Frankie cranks one out. While the King is cranking one on the piano, Frankie cranks one out on his own organ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and so then we have, a little bit of time has passed, and we have Iggy talking to Frank about, it's time. Instead of doing like Bernie says and, booking a whole big-ass tour, let's get him to a local club in front of a small group of people and see what he does.
I got a background band. We'll rock it out, man.
Yeah, and Frankie's like, what's the band's name? And he's like, we can workshop that. I was thinking, the Acid Heads or the Speed Freaks.
Right.
And Frankie's like, what about the liver transplants?
We'll work on that.
Yeah. So then we have, King being introduced to this band, and he's like, all right, I got an idea for a song. Let me show you the parts. And now he's got some skill. He starts playing, he's like, all right, this is the guitar line, here's the bass, and he's like showing, giving everybody their parts. And it's kind of like a punk, it's
rockabilly speed metal is what it kind of is,
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like the Cramps or something like that cross between old style rockabilly with punk and heavy distortion and everything.
Right.
But the lyrics are all kind of Frankenstein-y, electricity and stuff like that. But it's cool. It kind of works because he's doing an Elvis impersonation vocally,
right?
But with this sort of more punky metal sound, and I'm kind of into it. It's kind of cool actually.
Right. But they notice his dance steps. They're not really King eccentric. They're not King centric. Probably because he has a drummer's legs, but still.
Yeah. So okay, we got to work on that. So they send him to a dance instructor, and this is a male dance instructor. So, especially for the time period, obviously he's gay.
It's a gay joke, yeah, for sure.
And he's extremely sort of stereotypical gay. Mm-hmm. And as King is watching him, demonstrate some moves, he the head, the big head, is just watching for the dance instruction.
Oh, but the little head,
is interested. So he's just got a boner, and he's like, "What's that about? What's going on here?" I don't.
So is this for the male gaze? Anyway, I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple jokes in there, folks. No, I'm kidding. But but anyway, the instructor notices, hey, you're interested, so he flirts with him a little bit.
Yeah. But
luckily nothing happens.
Yeah. We just have our lesson, and then later we have King talking to Frankie, and he's like, "Have you ever had any unnatural urges?" He's being really kind of coy about it. Have you ever wanted to have sex with? And Frankie's like, a corpse? And he's like,
right, nope.
No.
Me neither. That's weird that you would think that. That's weird.
Yeah. Okay. So, again, this part is sort of, I still feel like we're on a path that is okay. For the time period, this would be common to be like, oh no, I have unnatural urges that are going to ostracize me from society. I don't want to be gay. I don't want to have these feelings. I don't want to have these urges. I'm gonna try to bury this in some way. We have him, alone with a guitar. He starts singing a song,
the Boner Blues.
And again, it's sort of compelling. Like, he's like, I don't know what to do about this attraction that I have. I feel conflicted about it. And
was gay blues, like, I know that gay artists have done blues, but, like, was gay blues ever a genre? Like, an underground genre?
I'm not sure. I know that, I mean, there's definitely a lot of gay punk. Yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a little subsection of like blues performers.
Right. I mean, honestly, even nowadays, like coming out in certain like groups, you probably shouldn't do that, maybe. But I mean, you should do that. But also, they probably wouldn't be respectful of you if you did.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's just, there's this really kind of good idea here, this kernel of an idea of like,
yeah,
you know, I mean, obviously our sort of joke here is that like him having a gay dick and a straight brain are at odds with one another. They're fighting. But the reality of that is people who have, you know, homosexual attraction, who are attracted to people of the same gender, but everything they've been taught by society in their brain is like, this is bad, this is wrong, this is going to get me into trouble, this is going to make my life difficult. And so if I can just logic my way into being straight, it will make my life better.
Yeah, conversion camps are bad. Don't do that.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's so frustrating because I really like this as a concept that like it could have gone somewhere really powerful and really impressive.
They definitely thought they had something, and they honestly, for the time, they kind of did, but also we didn't quite get there, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, society wasn't ready yet. Still not, which is bizarre and wild, but you know.
Yeah. So we have like sort of several bits of montage of him like trying to explore this attraction, this sexuality, and figure out what works and what doesn't. So we have him like on the phone with like a sex line. And
not working for him. Like, he's been on there for 4 hours. He's not getting there.
Yeah, and so he hangs up with her. We will find as he like marks off like a standard, you know, he's like looking at the classified ads in newspapers.
Right.
You know, this used to be a thing you could find like phone sex ads in the back of a newspaper. But he marks off a picture of a woman and then looks at there's a phone sex line for men, you know, with gay men, and he like circles that and is going to call that.
Right. I guess that'll work for him. Who knows? But anyway, we have the discussion of the DNA clusters fighting with each other, as well as the king pulling out a gerbil and stuffing it into a condom, which is fun. No. And he started his gerbil collection.
Yeah, thankfully, I mean, as much as we're leaning into this stupid joke, we don't, like, show anything too like, it's just, like, we see him put a gerbil in a condom, and then it's, like, a little bit of time passes, and he's, like, tucking a dead gerbil still inside a condom under his pillow.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think we'll later see, like, 3 or 4 under there, like, as if this is
a thing.
An ongoing thing that he's continuing to explore.
But he also sings, he takes his pain and puts it into song about feeling like a monster. So, you know.
Yeah. Again, really cool. Like, and, you know, we find, like, he's working with his band now. They're really connected. They have a name that he has chosen, which is Unnatural Urges, which is both kind of a cool band name. It's better than, you know, the liver transplants.
Right.
But it also tells, like, what he's struggling with.
Right.
So, yeah, he sings this song about how he feels confused. He feels like a monster. The crowd is eating it up. Everything's going great. And Bernie's in the crowd, and he's like, look at these people. They're going nuts. They're loving it. Like, this is everything I was hoping for. So he goes to talk to King backstage after the show, and King's like,
yeah, whatever, Bernie.
I'm tired. Just we'll talk later. Like, I'm just worn out. I've been, you know, rocking so long. Like, I just need to rest. Mm-hmm. So Bernie leaves, and he's like, he sees Iggy in the hallway, and he's like, I'm starting to notice a little bit of dissent from King, and you need to get him under our thumb again. Like, get him back in charge.
Here's some more drugs. Do it.
Yeah, Iggy is paid exclusively in drugs. And then back in King's dressing room, a groupie comes in, you know, classic rock and roll gag thing here, like, and, you know,
listen, she gets to be the first on the list, so I mean, that's prime real estate, you know.
Yeah, so of course, she gets topless. She starts she takes his hand and puts it on her breast. She puts her hand on his dick, like she's, trying.
Very not into it, clearly.
Yeah, like there's nothing going on there. And so he's like, I'll be right back. I gotta run to the bathroom. So in the bathroom, he starts flipping through like a gay porno mag, and that gets things flowing. So he runs back in with the magazine hidden behind his back, and he's like, why don't you get on all fours, baby? I want some backdoor action. And she's like, oh, you want doggy style? Sure, okay.
Right. Well, he's not into doggy style. He's into the other stuff, of course.
Yeah. So, but not only he
puts the gay mag on her back. Yeah.
Yeah. So he can look at the
dudes,
pictures of the men as he tries to go in for anal sex, and she's like, no, I'm not into that.
Right. And she turns over and sees like, oh, that's what you're into. Okay, so I'm going to tell all my friends about it.
Yeah, I think this is the first instance of the F slur. Yeah. And it almost even here, as much as I hate hearing the word, and obviously we had it in Monster Squad and other thing, and it's just ugh. But here, it almost feels justified in that it's her calling him that because she's she's sort of confirming his fears. You are bad. You are monstrous. Right. You are this thing that society doesn't like and doesn't allow.
Something he doesn't want to accept.
Yeah. So
yeah.
It feels the same way as when you have the N-word in Django Unchained. It's not an endorsement of using the N-word. It's awful people using it because they're awful, and that tells the story.
Right.
Yeah, so she leaves, and he tries to stop her, but she's not having it. Meanwhile, Bernie reaches out to Frankie, and he's like, "I've got
a contract that King needs to sign."
Yeah, and Frankie's like, "Okay, I'll get my lawyer to look it over, and we'll have him sign it."
The fuck?
And he's like, "Yeah, I own him. No lawyer. Just have him fucking sign it. What I say goes."
Right. Turns out he also owns his nephew.
Mm-hmm. And here we finally kind of, we knew he gave him a bunch of money, but we find out that he made Frankie sign a contract that he owns all of Frankie's work, including King, because he helped Frankie get out of a rough patch when he got caught with
necrophilia.
He used to work for the coroner's office, and he got caught humping a corpse.
Real talk. This is going to go to a really dark place as if we aren't already there. How often do you think? I'm not going to put it out there, but I'm kind of putting it out there. It's got to be more than none.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I saw something that statistically, mortuaries and morgues and stuff try to preferentially hire women because it's way less likely that they'll try to fuck the corpses.
I asked for that, but I didn't want it. Also, go pay attention to your grandparents in their nursing homes. Anyway, seriously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. But continuing on with the fun stuff, I guess, question mark. Let's go get bagels and lox, though, even though I just threatened you.
Right, yeah. And so then we go back to King, and we get the first instance of, this dichotomy between his brain and his dick really sort of...
a literal argument between both.
Yeah. So, I think if someone else was standing next to him, they're not going to hear the dick talk, but he can hear the dick talk in his brain. Yeah. He's arguing, and he's pointing at it, and he's like, next time we have a groupie with great titties in front of us, you better stand at attention.
Right. He's like, nah, I'd rather have some Filipino boys, thank you.
Yeah. And he gets pretty graphic about what he's into. He wants some nice boys tushies.
Hate it.
Yeah. But King is I guess at least cognizant enough to know that this is weird. This shouldn't be happening. So he again goes to Frankie, and he's like, I think something's wrong with my brain. My dick is talking to me, and I'm arguing with it. And Frankie's like, it's probably just a result of the different parts, the dominance thing we were talking about. Because I don't think Elvis Presley was a schizophrenic, so I don't think that would carry. Your mental health should be fine. And King's like, no, that's not it though. Everything seems weird. I don't like myself. I don't understand. My body seems foreign to me. And here we get another word that I really wish hadn't been in this movie. he uses a racial slur to describe his hands because they're like we have sort of blackface of his hands, like they're Jimi Hendrix hands, so they got to be a different skin tone. But he uses a term to describe it. It's not the N word, but it's not a great one. We're just yeah. So unfortunate there. He's like, yeah, my legs seem too short, my hair seems, and just nothing seems like me. I don't, what is me, I guess. And Frankie's like, maybe the dick is not like maybe it's not fully rejuvenated. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you're impotent.
Right. And let's just inject it with more of the growth serum.
Yeah. So yeah, we got the brain some more power, but like now the brain and the dick are at odds, but we're gonna make them back to equal footing. So yeah, it seems not like the smartest move on Frankie's part,
but it almost seems like it was kind of, maybe he was like, yeah, maybe let's see where this goes,
yeah. So then we have like an extended montage of like the band blowing up. We have like them in the recording studio, them on the cover of magazines, fans swarming them.
Right. We get a little bit of is this where all the interviews go on with the girls with the neck tattoos?
Yeah. A bunch of fans who have like fake stitches around
We love King. We want to have his babies. We don't want him to bone us down. And it's like, oh, honey, dear.
Yeah, there's even some of them who have painted their hands brown to look like him.
Yeah.
But then we see like King is backstage before a show and he sits down in front of the piano and again starts playing beautifully, not playing rock and roll. Mm-hmm. And Bernie comes in and is like, "What are you doing? You got to get on stage. You got to rock for the kids. Like what this?
These they girls, love you. They love your guts. They love your guts as an asshole." Oh, okay, cool.
Right. So, King's getting ready to leave, and he's like, "Oh no, I don't have my keys though." And Bernie's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. There's a limo waiting for you. You don't need to drive. I'll find your keys. I'll meet you at the show later." And instead, as after King leaves, he starts searching around and he finds the gay porno mags,
right.
And I think the condoms full of gerbils and all that, like.
But this is definitely mirroring like a young man. Oh no, they found my porn stash. How harrowing that could be.
Yeah. I mean, definitely been there.
Yep.
But like, yeah, obviously. But here, Bernie's upset. Like he, if he had found a bunch of straight porn, he would have been like, hell yeah, But like, right. No, he's upset. He's like, oh
it's
no,
all gay.
Yeah, that ruins everything. Gay rock star couldn't possibly happen. Like, no, this is gonna ruin everything. So, yeah, he's very upset about that. And then we cut to King, who is on stage, and he seems to be having a bit of a breakdown. Maybe the dick taking control is causing problems, but he's just playing chopsticks on a piano in front of a crowd.
Also doing Liberace setup with the candelabra on the piano. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. He went full Liberace. All right, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. And so then, like, we just cut to, like, after the show, he's got another groupie with him. They're going back to his apartment, mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, I've never been to a rock star's house before. And he's like, there's always got to be a first time, darling.
Yeah, that's what my dad said. Oh, no, honey. When she got screwed by her father, it's like, oh, that's trauma. Yeah. Your life sucked.
Yeah, she said, I think I was 9. So, like... we're making a little joke here about, of course, she's a groupie. Like, she's got daddy issues. She's,
right. But also, let's not make it that real, guys. Let's just stop it.
Yeah. King is like, all right, let's do this. So I've got a role play. I want to do. He has her dress up in men's clothing, including putting on a fake mustache.
She's like, whatever, man. I'm into it. And she blows him.
Yeah. So she's going down on him, and he's into it. But then she starts talking dirty, and he's like, okay, fine, until she says something about, like, my tight, wet pussy or something, and he's like,
right.
oh, gross. Ooh. No, not... Yeah. So at this point, the dick, starts arguing with him again, and we see that not only is the dick gay,
right.
But he
murderous.
seems to, like, hate women. Like, he's like, yeah, like, he suggests, like, maybe we could just force her into anal. It'd be, better than nothing.
Yeah. By the way, this is where the essay comes in,
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Like, I guess it's unpleasant. Like, we're again, because this movie's sort of a silly horror comedy. Obviously, we're not gonna like really make this scene like viscerally unpleasant. But I mean, it's just by the nature of what it is.
Right. So they create another hole that is very much vagina-like in her belly, and
Yeah, because she pulls a knife to defend herself. He gets it away from her. And they, once King cuts her and she dies, he, for some reason, picks up where his dad left off and starts fucking this wound.
Yeah.
And then, like, later, Frankie comes in and finds the corpse and is like, oh no, he does want to fuck corpses like me. Uh-oh.
Right. Hey, what's going on, Frankie, man? King comes in. It's like nothing happened, right? Very rock star behavior, I guess.
Yeah, he's like, my little hombre made me do it, is how he describes it.
Yeah. Basically, he's like, oh yeah, my dick literally made me do it. I don't think that's ever been a valid defense, my guy.
Yeah. And he's like, I think, I don't know, you gave me a gay dick. He calls it a homo wand.
Yeah.
Which was a bizarre way to, but, which is funny because like I feel like I've seen in recent years that like some trans women are referring to their dicks as princess wands, like as like a way of reclaiming that. So like I don't know, I thought that was kind of, I have never heard wand used to describe dick
more
outside
power
of
to
those two
That's fair. Rock on, I guess.
But again, here Frankie is like, maybe you need to start facing the fact that you're gay. Like there's nothing to be ashamed of, and he says in this day and age, which like, no, in that day and age, there's still definitely a lot of people trying to make this something you should be ashamed of.
Right. No, there definitely there were people on both sides, but honestly, still it was usually the hateful side was winning. It still kind of is. Still is, absolutely, actually. Anyway.
Yeah. But Frankie does try to be supportive here, and and King is like, but the problem is not that I'm gay, it's that my dick seems to want men, but my brain wants women. So like, neither works. Like when I'm with a man, my brain is not attracted to him. But when I'm with a woman, I can't get hard because my dick's not attracted to him. So like it which again I feel like is really about.
Is this bi erasure? No, I'm not kidding, really, but that's like it feels like it's bi erasure, right? Like,
right? Yeah. It feels like it's trying to say like I have this societal pressure that I can't unravel, and so
I know I have to be one way, but I am another.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, Frankie's like, I think kind of confirming what I was just saying, that he's like, I don't think you're being honest with yourself. I think you should take the phrase, don't knock it till you try it. Like, just really lean into being gay. Just try it. Like, give it, you've tried so hard to resist it. You've tried so hard with girls to try to make it happen. Just try being gay. See what happens. Like, it can't hurt.
We could hang out sometime.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have Bernie, who's talking to a marketing team, and he's like, the King's biggest fan base is young women. They love his vulnerability. Let's like make dolls. Let's find ways to market specifically to
women.
These young women.
Only women like this guy. Only women. And then immediate call, and then it's like, hey, I got bad news, Bernie. Turns out your boy's been at a gay bar constantly.
Mm-hmm. So he's upset about that. He wants the photo evidence, and sure enough. He gets like the classic, private eye manila envelope with some photos and everything.
Yeah, we got to bury this shit because that's awful.
Yeah. Meanwhile, King takes what Frankie said to heart, and he takes a guy home.
It seems like it's going to be a nice time. They have a nice chat, I guess.
The dick is like describing what he wants to do in like a level of graphic detail that the still homophobic brain of King is not able to process. He's not okay with. Graphic. And it's a lot of like stereotypes of like what people thought gay sex was like at the time, which may or may not be entirely true. Leaning on like particularly taboo and S&M things and whatever. And
I feel like this is perfect for the S&M community. Well, no, because it goes a little bit too far. There's no consent. But yeah, anyway, it's probably what they thought the S&M community was like as well. Also, leather daddy thing, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he uses all kinds of euphemisms. They're mostly what you would hear like homophobic, like schoolyard bullies use now. But eventually, King gives in and lets him go through with it.
Well, the guy lets King go through with it.
Yeah, but the end, it seems like King like ends up he's choking him. He's like fucking him from behind. He's like choking him, but I think he like either chokes him unconscious or worse.
No, it's worse. It's worse.
Yeah. And they also this felt really like the dick as he's orgasming. Yeah. The dick yells out "Mother, I love you," which
I feel like that was also a thing. Like gay guys were like really actually into their mom. Was that the?
Yeah, it felt. It seems like this is another sort of weird stereotype that maybe,
the Norman Bates thing. That was what it was playing on.
That's what I was thinking too. Was that it was definitely like Psycho. Yeah. But yeah. Meanwhile, as that ends, Bernie comes to talk to Frankie, and he's like, "I'm worried that the king might be gay." And Frankie's like, "Yeah, I know. He told me. We've talked about it."
Right.
And Bernie's like, you can't be gay and famous. We got to fix this."
Okay. That's funny in retrospect, but yeah.
Yeah. And Frankie's like, "No, we just need to let him be who he is. We can't fight it." And soon, I'm going to publish all my papers. This is all going to come out, and everything will be fine then.
Whoa! You're going to put this out in the papers? They're going to find out you're. And he's like, "Oh, a necrophiliac? Yeah, totally. It's fine."
Yeah. At this point, I just want my work out there in the public. I don't care. Like, if it gets me into trouble, it's fine. So Bernie's trying to blackmail him further, and he's like, "No, you can't. I'm dedicated to this idea now."
Right. But then King is also going to therapy, which everyone should.
Yeah, and this was interesting. The therapist is like, "I think you should see a sex surrogate," which is a very specific kind of therapy that is not available in most places because it's sex work. Like you are paying a therapist to perform sexual acts on you as part of this healing journey. It's a
so I'll get you in touch with this guy named Bruce. Yeah,
and King's like, no, I want a lady sex therapist or a sex surrogate. Like I want to undo the gayness. I want you to solve that. And he's like, no, you've
got to heal.
Yeah, you've been putting your gay urges on your dick rather than accepting that they're your actual desires.
Right, but you were getting ready to talk about a famous study. I'm sorry.
Well, there was a movie from a decade or two ago that it feels like it got Oscar nominations, but I don't think it won. I cannot remember what it was called, but it might have just been called The Surrogate.
That sounds familiar.
It was John Hawkes was the main guy, and he played a paraplegic or quadriplegic man who went to a sex surrogate to deal with his sort of body issues and everything. I want to say it was Helen Hunt maybe was the surrogate. Really, really good, sad, beautiful movie. But this is a form of sex work that is a very gray area that you probably can only find in certain places and everything. But it felt appropriate here. I thought this was kind of an interesting idea that the regular therapist is I think this might help you unlock your real attraction that you're kind of trying to fight and push down. So yeah, I thought that, I don't know, that was one of the instances where I was like, okay, this movie it's trying, it's occasionally kind of on the right track. Mm-hmm. So then we have, King is still not ready to accept this though. So he leaves, he goes for a walk. He sees a priest standing out in front of a church. So he goes in and wants to do a confession.
Yeah, I think the movie you were talking about is The Sessions.
The Sessions, that's what it's called, yes. Yeah, totally not Frankenstein in any way, but, I recommend it. I think it's a pretty good movie. But at first the priest is he doesn't want to he's like, we're closed, come back tomorrow or whatever.
Well, I got some confessions to make, and the priest is like, oh, let's hear this. I want to hear the tea.
Yeah, and it's oh, you did some bad thing. And it's it's really quickly obvious that this priest is also gay and is excited about what kind of dirty talk he's going to get to listen into.
But also, bad priest is bad, I guess.
Yeah. Like, I think he takes the little screen down between the booths and tries to get...
He's like, tell me more. Give me your hand so we can pray together, and I can put it on my junk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Boy, how many times does that happen?
Yeah. But of course, King is definitely at a point right now where he is very self-hating about his urges, so this is not not the right time for this kind of thing. So he
beats up on the priest.
Yeah, he just starts beating the shit out of him, and again, kind of leaning into that, like, gay guys love S&M. The priest is, like, kind of into it. He's getting, like, punched in the face and everything. And it ends with, like, King making, like, a turn the other cheek now or something, and he, like,
literally, he does some sacrilege and shoves the massive crucifix or cross up the priest's butt.
Yeah.
Or down the priest's butt. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
how deep is your love, priest? Which is a nice song reference, right?
Right, yeah. So then we have Bernie reading the newspaper, and he sees something about that there was an autopsy done on Jim Morrison.
But it was in France, specifically.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, he's reading it, and he's like, wait, what the fuck? And he goes running to Iggy, and so it's like, we don't really know what's going on here.
Why does he get mad at Iggy when it was Frankie who, I mean, maybe it was because he told Iggy to do the thing, but Frankie was like, no, I know where all the sex organs are.
Yeah, but he's like, Jim, this autopsy thing says that Jim Morrison wasn't circumcised, but
the king is.
The king's dick is, so that's not Jim Morrison's dick. And Iggy's like, okay, yeah, there's a little bit of a problem.
Right.
We had to get a different dick. And he's like, okay, whose is it?
Yeah, just tell me who. Liber Ace? Ace Liber. Yeah, that's Ace Liber. That's the guy. Liberace.
We get an Abby Normal joke here. But yeah, Bernie is pissed. He's like, you stole Liberace's song? Like, this is, no wonder this is a problem.
Right.
So he goes to tell King, and he's like, I figured it out. I know what your problem is. We can fix it.
Right. They immediately start playing the Nutcracker Suite, which,
And Bernie goes from being like, oh no, this is bad, this is a problem.
It's fine, this is fixable. We could take care of this.
Yeah, he's like, I understand, and I want to help you. I know you're suffering. Like, as soon as he realizes it's not your fault, you know, like, I'll help you figure it out. So let's go talk to Frankie. We can get you a new dick.
Yeah.
And Frankie's like,
no, we can't though.
Yeah, and King is like, if you don't, I'm gonna kill myself. Like, I can't live this way anymore. I cannot deal with this conflict inside me anymore.
Yeah, I feel like I've had friends who've definitely dealt with that one. So.
Yeah. I mean, again, this is a common thing for especially people who are dealing with a lot of societal pressure to be something that they're not. It's hard to live like that your whole life. So yeah, I mean, this all again rings really true. Yeah, I mean, I feel like us talking about this is making like the real problem with this is a lot of the language, a lot of the choices of the words that we're not really focusing on here because we're talking about like the themes and everything. If it. As an example, I mean, I feel like the term like fudge packer is in this movie probably a dozen times, and like every other one of those kind of phrases you can think of is in here way too much.
Right.
And if it wasn't, it might ring a little less like homophobic.
Right. And if all the homophobia wasn't here, it would be less homophobic. But legitimately, it would be. Yeah. Like it's the epitome of the boy's got the spirit, but he ain't right. You know what I mean? It's like the spirit of it's there. It's there. We just can't get there, right?
Yeah. So Frankie does agree, but he's like, I don't know where I'm gonna find a new dick on short notice. And King's like, I don't care. Like, I would rather be like a eunuch. Like, just get rid of the dick. We can find a new one later. I just want Bernie's this one off of me.
No, you've got to have a schlong, buddy. We can't not have you having a schlong.
Yeah.
That's more important than you being anything else. Just, you've got to have a penis.
Yeah. But then Frankie gets ready for surgery and he sees that, oh no, there's a problem. The dick has gotten too powerful.
Yep. Sure has, buddy.
it's like grown nerves and veins that have spread further into King's body,
right, wrapping
around his spinal column.
Yeah.
So he's like, removing this dick will kill you. There is no way around it. You are stuck.
Listen, unless it's like gone up to like, what is it, C5, like the vertebrae, like up on his neck, I think he's fine. He'll just be paralyzed from the waist down, which to Bernie would probably be the worst thing possible, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, so, they wake King and tell him this and everything, and, Bernie's like, there's got to be a fix. There's got to be something.
Right.
And Frankie's like, maybe there is, but I think we've run into the wall of, like, what I am capable of. So it's time for me to share my research with the scientific community, and then maybe someone else can help us. Maybe they can help us get to the next step.
Yeah, but King would rather die.
Mm-hmm. And Bernie, too, he's like, we can't let the world know that King is gay.
Right.
Like, that would ruin everything. All of our work would be ruined.
For nothing. But Frankie would be like, I'd probably get a medal or something.
But, Frankie obviously he's not having it either, so he manages to, like, grab a scalpel. He starts trying to, like, he's going to stab himself with
King,
it. Frankie
grabs it. Frankie tries to stop
King
him.
grabs it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're wrestling, and Frankie's like, just trust me, I made you, I want what's best for you. And he's like, well, you made me wrong, which, again, really, really resonates. Like, this is where it's, like, really working. And Frankie's like, no, I don't care. I love you just the way you are.
So there was a blossoming love until King stabs himself, or tries to, and Frankie jumps in the way of the stab.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have, like, the creator, the God figure of the movie being like, I accept you for who you are. I made you this way, and this way is good.
Literally dies for King.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of biblical stuff here, and it's like, yeah, this part is pretty great, actually. Yeah. And so, yeah, Frankie kind of bleeds out there in King's arms.
Literally confessing his love for him. Like, I love you. Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah. But, because he's gone now, like, it's kind of like his words aren't really there to continue. So, like, King sort of descends into this, like, montage of alcoholic depression.
I was going to say,
sitting around.
What do all great musicians or artists do? Drugs and alcohol about it. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The healthiest way to cope.
Right, yeah. So he's sitting around, getting drunk, but he's also got an ice pack sitting on his balls. Like, he's trying to, like,
cool it
keep
off.
that all under control, just like... Yeah. But, like, and, like, the plan is Bernie's going to find a new doctor who can fix everything.
We got to get King back in the studio, though.
Yeah, we got to get the career back on track. And Iggy's like, okay, but I need more drugs. I can encourage him back into the studio, but I'm out of my stash.
Massive wads of Reynolds wrap. And Iggy's like, what the fuck is this? Codeine suppositories, baby. If you want to feel numb about everything, shove these bad boys up your keister. These are meant for horses, by the way.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So we have Iggy going to talk to King, and there's supposed to be this big event tonight. King's like, I'm not going. I'm done with this.
Yeah.
And Iggy's like, I heard that Bernie has a guy who's going to be there who might be able to help you. Like, maybe you should go there, meet him, get in his good graces. Maybe this is your chance.
Right.
So, okay, that's what King needs to hear. He agrees to go. And
literally, I thought this bit was going to be about a plastic surgeon and GRS. But, they didn't go there.
Instead...
You would think in Bernie's mind, that's how we fix this, right?
Yeah. But, like, again, King is like, all right, where's this doctor? I want to talk to him. And Bernie's like, I've got a surprise for you. I'll show it to you in a minute. But, like, the crowd's here. Everybody wants to see you perform. Just get up there and give them a song. Like, they've been waiting for you.
By the way, he's wearing a tutu because, leaning into it, I guess.
So he goes up on stage, and in, like, a very sort of like classic Elvis sort of ballad style, he sings Amazing Grace. And again, this is like kind of outside of, like, the rock and roll thing that Bernie wants, but, like, the whole crowd is captivated. It's beautiful. Elvis did this from time to time. He liked the ballad, and the crowd's just like dead silent, and then breaks out into applause when he's over, or when he finishes. And then he goes to talk to Bernie, and Bernie's like, okay, the surprise is it can't be done. The surgery is not going to work.
But we can give you some dudes. You'll be good. We're gonna turn this around. We'll make your gayness part of the act.
Yeah, I mean, it worked for the Village people, right? We could do this.
Right. He's like, no, you gotta fix me.
Yeah, he's still not ready to accept it, so he runs to the bathroom, and in the bathroom, like, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be like sort of a hallucination,
right? It's got to be
real or what. But it's like he bursts into the bathroom, and like every stall kind of like erupts open with like every kind of gay stereotype you can imagine, and they're all like, really again graphically describing.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of like I won't pee on a pee in my mouth. Like there's a lot of pee stuff in here, but like
listen,
a lot
golden
of taboo
chat
sex stuff.
Water sports are for straight people too. No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, King is really upset by this. He screams. He goes running out, and he grabs Bernie by the head and just crushes his skull in his hands.
Yeah, you love to see a good head crush.
Yeah, and Bernie's like, I made you, as he dies.
Right. And Iggy's like, we gotta get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah. We hear sirens approaching, so they run down an alley.
Where do they go, Anthony? Where the fuck do they go?
They just like burst into a door, like just a door on the alley, but then we see above it a sign that they didn't see that says, Gerbils are us.
What? Where the hell is this finale taking us? Where are we going?
Yeah, so Iggy's like, we can hide out here for the night. We can figure out where our next move for tomorrow. And King's like, I'm just out of tune with reality, Iggy. I don't want to go on living. I'm done.
I'm gonna be real with you. I got really nervous. Why are the fucking gerbils in boxes, man? They can't breathe in there.
Yeah, there's some weirdness going on here for sure. They start to hear squeaking and turn on all the lights, and then see that like it's like all these crates, and it just says gerbils on them. And so the dick is like, all right, let's play hide and seek. Yeah. So
the King's done with it. He's like, no, but the dick literally mutates into a green monster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just have this like bad dragon type, like throbbing green dildo sticking out of his pants. That's like,
words I never want to hear ever again. Thank you.
Yeah. But King is like punching the dick. And then he goes, we're in a warehouse with all these crates and everything. So he goes over to like one of those kind of standard warehouse pulleys on a motor with like a hook on the end. And he jams the hook into the dick, turns on the motor, we should have given a warning for that one too. Yeah, it's thankfully because this is such a cartoonish weird dildo. Like it doesn't, it's not as visceral as like dick trauma can be in movies. But yeah, obviously he gets picked up off the ground a little bit, and so he gets picked up off the ground, and then eventually it rips, and he falls to the ground with the dick hanging above his head. Waving back and forth as the chains sway in the breeze. Right,
he bleeds out and dies.
Mm-hmm. Saying, "Thank God Almighty, I'm free at last," as he dies. There
was no Martin Luther King here. You leave him alone.
Right. Yeah. And then we have Iggy kind of like stumbling out of the sort of chaotic mess. We hear the song Taps, the trumpet song that's played when soldiers die. Yep.
His little soldier did die. So, yeah. Or did it? Dun dun dun.
Yeah, because then we see the dick falls off of the chain and then just starts like doing like an inchworm thing, crawling away, laughing evilly, and then we get the end ?
This was a thing. This was absolutely a thing that we watched.
Truly a wild movie.
Like like you said, there are parts that were like affirming for individuals, and it was like, be who you are, but also we're going to use the language of the time, which isn't the best. Yeah,
it feels like I think now we see a lot of like gay and trans artists making movies about the conflicts that they deal with, coming to terms with their identities and their sexualities, And some of these movies can be crude at points, but coming from the creators who are dealing with these things, it feels earned in a way that like does not feel like the case here.
This is this is a bunch of straight dudes congratulating themselves on being so forward thinking.
Yeah, like I could imagine like a gay filmmaker like doing a remake of this, which would be insane, like a remake of this movie, but like they could have done it in a way that would like, you know, like I don't know if you've seen like The People's Joker. That movie is very much about like figuring out that you're trans through this sort of weird wacky parody universe of all these Batman characters and stuff, and it's so crazy. It's just a fantastic movie that like could only have been made by a trans creator talking about her own experiences, whereas like this, you know, if the right people had been in the room, this could have been something really, really impressive. But instead, there's so many like grains of salt you have to take it with, you know, like there's a concept there's a nugget of truth that is interesting, and that like I feel like after I watched this, like I talked to several people about it and was just like, it's driving me crazy. Like I can't stop thinking about it because there is something there, but it's just like it's hard to endorse. Like I would never, you know, like I think I've talked about this. My dad is gay. He didn't come out until he was in his like 50s, and like there's probably some stuff in here that would really resonate with him, but there's so much stuff that would be so hateful and uncomfortable for him to experience that I would never recommend he watch this movie, you know? And that's a shame, because like I feel like there are young people who are currently going through feelings like this, even in, you know, 20, 30 years after this movie was made, as we've discussed. Like, we've moved forward a little, but not as much as we would like. And it would be great to be able to show somebody something like this, to be like, you're not alone. People suffer with this dual identity thing and the pressure from society and your wants versus your, you know, like what you logically think is the right thing and all of this. It would be great to have a piece of art like this that would not just be constantly insulting the target audience or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, it's a rough one. It's like, I don't know that I could recommend this to anyone. Like, I think that it has some cool stuff that I'm going to be thinking about for a while, but it's just wrapped up in so much bad stuff that it's just hard to put it in front of the people that might get something out of that central theme. Like,
literally, people talk about movies that couldn't be remade today. I think this one absolutely can and probably should, to a degree. I don't know that they could go with rock and roll Frankenstein, though, because rock and roll really isn't a thing anymore.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, they would definitely have to come at it from a different angle, but like there's definitely a way to do a story of a Frankenstein dealing with contrary desires that could be really cool and really compelling. I would love to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so obviously this was a charged episode, whether we wanted it to be or not. So if I misspoke or we misspoke or about anything, let us know, because we want to make sure we're doing the right thing and not just sticking to the parlance of the times. So
yeah, it's tricky talking about something that's this old and like trying to meet it on its terms, but also not, you know, give it too much credit. You know, I mean, I think, you know, if you follow us over on Patreon, we do this a lot with the Munsters, where we have to like deal with the fact that we love the Munsters and also hate a lot of the things that they do.
Right.
But yeah, it's tricky, and yeah, I hope we handled it with grace, because it's, you know, it's a fine line to walk.
Exactly. So, yeah, anything else to be said about this one?
I think that's it for this one.
All right, Anthony. Well, we're going from one gay icon to another. Yeah, I'm going to call Megan 2.0 gay icon. Well, Megan a gay icon. I feel like she was absolutely adopted by the gay community.
Oh, like, yeah, for sure. There was so much like iconography with her. Like, I think there wouldn't have been a Megan 2.0 if the gay community hadn't latched onto the first movie so much.
Yeah, that TikTok, which I mean, they're kind of almost a circle, right? I'm sure. No.
Yeah. But yeah, we watched the first one, like we caught it in theaters and tried to do like an episode right away, and then like this one, just for various reasons, like we just kind of missed it when it was in theaters, and like I think it's hit streaming at this point, so like now everybody can watch it, and I have held off, so I've not seen this movie. I'm super excited to get to it. I've heard it's weird and like very different than the first, and some people love that and some people hate that. So
I've heard it's more divisive for sure, and more on the hate than love part. So
yeah, but I've avoided spoilers. Like I know a lot of people are mad about it, but I don't know why, and I'm excited to get my own opinion about that. So yeah, definitely looking forward to checking that out next week.
And here's to hoping maybe there's a Megan 3.0 that redeems them, because there's always the sophomore slump, right?
Yeah, and I really am in favor of a new generation of like horror icons.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I know like Art the Clown is a big one now, and those movies, I liked the second one. I was kind of on the first and third, but like I really like that they exist and that they have this huge following. I think that's great. And
Question, which first one? Because there was also All Hallows Eve.
yeah. Terrifier 2 I really liked, but yeah, All Hallows Eve and Terrifier 1 and 3, there are things about them that rub me the wrong way. I don't hate them, but 2 was really where they just like hit this sweet spot for me that I really did get a kick out of that one.
Absolutely. Yeah, sorry to mess with you like that. But
no.
All right, well, anything else to be said, my friend?
I think that's it.
All right, where can they find us?
Oh, yeah, so you can find us on all the socials at The Frankencast. You can email us at thefrankencast@gmail.com. And, as Eric said, like, especially this time, if you want to reach out, if you have feelings about what we had to say about this movie or whatever, like, we'd love to hear it. Like, definitely something like...
We want to fix our words in real time, please. Thank you.
Absolutely, yes, exactly. But yeah, you can find us in those places. You can also find us on YouTube, and you can always find us at patreon.com/thefrankencast, where, as I mentioned, we do Munsters episodes where we talk a lot about things that we love that have a lot of like controversial things because of the time when they were made. So if you enjoyed that aspect of this, there's so much more of that over there.
Absolutely. All right. Well, aside from that, thank you all for everything, and one more time, to be continued. That was not a good Elvis impression, but it was an Elvis impression.
Looks like you survived another episode. The Frankencast is a production of FCR Media. It's hosted by Anthony Bowman and Eric Velasquez. Follow us on Twitter at The Frankencast, or send us a letter at thefrankencast@gmail.com. Our cover art is by Amanda Keller. You can find her at Keller Illustrations on Instagram. Our theme music is by Vivek Abhishek. Thanks for listening.